Good morning. Welcome to the upper deck for Pinstripe Chronicles. Incidental rentals or savvy planning? You tell us.
Cue the music.
Good morning. Welcome to the upper deck for Pinstripe Chronicles. Boy, Lynn, that was a smooth intro.
Yeah, this is going to be a glitch-free episode. Book it. Hey, Lynn, cue the music already. I did. We're here. Spencer. Hey, and our room is filling in. Jonathan, Lori, FJ, and Spencer. Good morning. Thanks for being here and being the early birds. And Li, good morning to you too. Yeah, this is we meant what we said with the title of today's show, because this week was what WTF with these acquisitions and moves being made. So hey, Strike Zone, good to see you. But you want to start with the trivia?
Yeah, let's get the trivia going. Spencer, as always, we thank you.
Absolutely. All right. And so Spencer says, in his opinion, a Hall of Famer is a player that is integral to the history and vitality of baseball. They transcend their stats and are deemed the greatest amongst the greatest. This week, it will be announced which, if any, new players have been inducted for the class of 2023. The list includes former Yankees like A-Rod, Andy Pettitte, and Gary Sheffield. And I believe it's the last year, at least for A-Rod and Pettitte, I believe, maybe Sheffield as well. That's a little non sequitur for me. Who are the five most recent former New York Yankees to be inducted?
Great.
Okay, so after the show, you'll get that answer. Drop those answers in the chat if you wanna. So there we go.
Wow, that's a fantastic question. We thought we'd start this morning with some new business, so to speak, because really, I tell you, planning this show this week was a challenge, mostly because everything that was happening seemed like it wasn't big business, but it was small business. What do you think, Lynn?
Well, it's small business and, really just, I don't know, questionable business. I just don't understand, even though some moves have been made and everybody is saying that we are so much better off this coming into this spring training than prior years. And well, there isn't much to improve, that has to be done to make it better than last year. I'm not understanding these last minute moves. And I'm calling them last minute because, free agency, as far as I'm concerned, is a topic that has flown away with one flowing in the breeze that I think we'll get to. But, this week was nothing but rentals to me. I want to know how everyone feels about that. And that's why I've even, taken the liberty of renaming the stadium you'll see behind me here. That's what it's starting to feel like. And, we joke all the time about the dumpster diving, but, so let's take the first one, for example, guys. So the Yankees got Diego Castillo off of waivers from the Mets. So a guy that the Mets want to get rid of, we claim, and we let go of Jeter Downs, who we just acquired. And, I get it that Castillo is essentially, it seems, a utility guy, right? Infielder, outfielder. But claiming somebody off of waivers is like flea market mentality. Oh, you don't want it? One man's junk is another man's treasure. Okay, I'll grab it for 50 cents. So that's one. So, would love to know, hey, Deb, hey, Tats, great, thanks for joining in. So would love to know your thoughts, Chris, Chat, Castillo.
Yeah, Castillo, as L.I. Yankee King points out, is a depth move. Claimed off waivers from the Mets, so he was a one-time Yankee. So welcome back, Diego. The other two that we claimed this week, that we got this week, one was Jose Rojas, a former Angel, also, I believe, an infielder, right?
Rojas, yeah, let me scroll down to him. Rojas
Yeah,
is,
I'm
yeah,
sorry. Okay.
yeah, he's a
And
utility guy, actually.
what?
Utility guy. So
A utility guy. Okay, so it seems like all three of these guys that we just recently acquired are in that utility role, and I think that's interesting because right now our utility person is probably, who would you say? Peraza is our utility, with DJ taking over third base this season.
Yeah, I think DJ as the lead, the real the known and relied upon utility guy. If something were need to pivot, then Peraza would be the slot in at third, for example. But
Right.
because I'm hoping like with a lot of players we've been talking about, we'll talk about today, I'm sure. We hope Rizzo is back 150%. So, but that's we won't know until we're there.
No.
So, I think that, yeah, I agree about the NFE, about the strike, about the depth, but the thing is, here's the question: if we're looking to build depth, aren't we better off in the infield and outfield than we are in the pen and even the starting rotation? So we're still radio silence on the depth in the bullpen, and I'll get to that in a little bit more depth later. And when we look at this now, with the signing of Stroman, and I'm sure we're going to be talking about Stroman, we certainly can't avoid that. And actually, I want to. I do, and it's a feel good story because I'm feeling differently than last week a little bit. But right now, assuming Schmidt is it, we have a 5-man, and beyond that, then it's call ups because and yeah, we have Will Warren in the wings. That's great, but I'm just really nervous about these minor league deals that are being made, and 1 year or not, none of them are an arm.
Right.
And so that's a little bit of a concern. And then of course we got Jose Rojas. Did I say that already?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Full disclosure, guys, I'm under the weather.
Okay, you didn't say it, I said it.
Oh, okay, sorry.
We're missing the other guy.
Yeah, okay. And this is sort of off topic but on topic. Last week we talked about international prospect signings starting this past Monday, and the Yankees leaped into action, which is great. But no, don't choose anyone in the top 10. That's too rich for our blood. But we did stay in the top 20, and we got number 15 international prospect, an outfielder named Francisco Valario. So I don't have any numbers on him, but we'll be talking about him maybe, unless he gets the revolving door treatment like Jeter Downs and others have gotten recently.
Right.
Thompson. So.
And last but not least, did you say we acquired Josh Van Meter from?
Nope. So let's talk about that. Yeah. So this is another minor league deal. So now we have, well, you're gonna go to this after what I say, Chris. We have an allegedly good farm system, right?
Yeah.
But we're adding, there's 2-3 minor league deals here, just in this past week, and Van Meter is one of them. So Van Meter was last with the Pirates in 2022. So something happened last year, and frankly, I just didn't have the time to dig into why he was inactive last year. But yeah, why not? Let's sign him. He's a lefty. That's great. He's a utility guy. Okay, we'll take that too. But he's assigned. He's got a minor league deal for $850K if he stays in the um 850K if he gets to the show, and 30,000 per month in the minors. So deal. I'll show you a deal. Did somebody say deal? Remember that commercial? That's Cashman all over the place.
Cashman's all over the place. And I noticed L.I. Yankee King said, Lynn, the farm system is stacked. That's great. And L.I., can you tell us what the ranking is? Because this week I was trying to find the ranking for the Yankee farm system, and MLB Pipeline ranked it at number 21. Does that sound correct? And also Fangraphs ranked our farm system at 24th. So I just wonder what the reality is, and let us know where we could look at some rankings for the farm system. Anyway, besides that, let's take a look at some updates. Rodon, we found out this week he's lost some weight. There was a picture of him everybody was sharing, pushing a stroller, I guess, with his kid. He's got in better shape, reported to Tampa early. This is what we want to know and what we want to hear. He is locked in for 2024. He is there. He is working it. And I know Rodon's going to come out and he's going to really be improved this year.
I have full faith in that as well. And hey, Rob, welcome up and welcome to the chat. And yeah, I'm all open mind when it comes to Rodon and the state. And I know that I live alone on the Stanton camp of things, or in a very tiny community of Stanton supporters. But he's also dropped some muscle weight and looking lean and fierce. And I really have a lot of hope in Rousen and what he's going to do to tweak those things. So that's a hope. And I just don't, and yeah, I knew you were with me on that, the supporting Stanton thing. Appreciate that, NFE. But the farm
I noticed, I'm sorry, did I interrupt?
No, I'm pivoting off of what you said. Is anyone else surprised that we're ranked so low in farm systems?
Yeah, I know. And L.I. he said he did have a response to that. He says, Dana's told me that Pipeline sucks, but Yankees farm system is stacked, especially that FCL team. All right, good to know. That is excellent news. I need to do more research, definitely, in there, and I will as the weeks go on. Someone in the chat mentioned that Rizzo is being reported at 100%. Thank God, because besides Rizzo, what do we have at first base, Lynn?
Well, we really would have to rely on these utility rentals that we got. We gave away IKF,
right?
And so I'm really not clear on anyone that we've signed that could solidly pivot there, if not
right.
DJ.
So, I guess you said before the show, DJ would have to go over to first, and Peraza or someone like Peraza over at third. Or Cabrera. I forgot to mention Cabrera in the mix.
Yeah.
Also, he's also out there with a super utility tag, and he definitely, let's just say, as far as the utility players go, did the Yankees do enough? I mean, they did nothing. They didn't upgrade in that regard at all.
No, not nearly enough. And Cabrera. Sorry, pardon me, guys. You're going to be hearing a lot of this, and I'm sorry. Cabrera hasn't gotten much opportunity in to show his utility strengths. In any sort of way to me. And he was really underplayed, I thought, elsewhere, but in the outfield, and didn't see him, solidly. He wasn't like the outfielder of the team. So I'm a little bit wary, but of these players they're bringing in, and like I've been saying to you before, during, and after shows, Chris, this is like. Spring training is going to be the tell, and so for literally almost all of the positions, we could talk. We've already talked a lot about the pitchers, but the catchers. What's Trevi gonna look like? Wells has stuff to work on. How is that all gonna pan out?
Right.
And we haven't heard a whole lot yet. On terms of who they might invite to camp, other than Rojas has already gotten an invitation to come up to camp as a minor leaguer that they're going to take a deeper look at. But
right.
Yeah, and Lori says we can do better than Cabrera. I mean, yeah, Lori. I mean, yes. I mean, and no disrespect or downing on Cabrera, but there were seasoned outfielders out for the getting, and they just weren't gotten. So
Right.
He
won the starting job last year. There's a number of players working out in Tampa, not just Rodon, actually. Judge, Torres, they're both there. Volpe, LeMahieu, Cabrera, he needs to be there for sure. Wells, Rodon, I said already, Cortez, and Dominguez. All of them have been reported to already be in Tampa working out. And this is music to our ears. I really want a strong start to spring, see the team really get out there and be aggressive this year. God, we cannot have a year like 2023 again. It can't be.
No, and speaking of, I read an article I wish I hadn't read from MLB.com where they predicted the top 10 teams that have had a dry run of things since their last World Series championship, and the Yankees didn't even make the top 10 of the teams that this guy that wrote the article thinks have the best chance at making getting the World Series this year.
Jim Duquette, the former Mets and Orioles GM, he says a lot of things, but he said this week, I think the Yankees are a third place team in the American League East. That's not good enough for the Yankees right now. Chat, what do you think? Are the Yankees at this point, without making any other moves, are the Yankees a third place team in the AL East? I think they'd be lucky that's probably giving it some.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I got a little preoccupied in the chat. First of all, Joe, welcome. And Tats, I agree with you. Lori, I'm gonna post my send her a link. Okay. Well, we'll have to figure that out. I'm a little bit of a novice on that, but Lori, I want to get in touch with you. Chris and I both want to get in touch with you.
Yes,
we love adding the women to the show. So
yeah, shoot one of us a message or an email. We'll post something in the chat.
Yeah, we'll throw something in the chat towards the end. Yeah. For sure.
Then I took a look this week at some projections from Dan Zimborski from Fangraphs. I'm sure everybody knows the Zips projections. I'm not going into the numbers, not that, but he had some interesting things to say about the Yankees and Yankee projections. He said, for one thing, he thinks that so far the Yankees have done a reasonable job patching up a bad team.
Okay. Well, here's what bothers me right off the bat. I don't like the use of the word patching.
I don't either.
And that's what has been happening season after season.
Right.
Patch a hole here, patch a hole here. Put a few temporary stitches here for a year. That is not the way. Um, and LI's doubling down on that article and saying Yankees are a first place team.
I'd like to believe that, and I have some thoughts on that too. Sorry, Lynn, I interrupted.
Go ahead, give them.
Well, I mean, I think that the Yankees, as constructed right now, have opportunities galore. However, as I'm going to point out in this article by Szymborski, there's some definite things that are questionable about this Yankee team. One of them is that it really is heavily dependent on bounce back seasons from Rizzo, Stanton, Cortez, Rodon, and even Stroman. That's a lot of bounce backs.
Yep. Yeah. And with great track records, but bouncing back nonetheless. And, this is where I get to, say my arrival at a better place about Stroman. I think that Stroman has a very high probability of being, what we're hoping him to be, and ostensibly what he was brought on board for. And why I'm pivoting ever so gently and slowly is that, and I forget if it was Curry or Hope, some guy mentioning it's the aura of the pinstripes. Once you put on those pinstripes, you understand your responsibility. And that was pretty much in response to the interviews. And really, I noticed a tone change in those interviews that were all over the place. You couldn't avoid them. Stroman being interviewed once he was officially signed. And, he's pivoting towards that Yankee mentality, at least now. We'll see. Action is going to tell the truth. But I am feeling like, it resonated for me, his story about he grew up the fan, all the things that we've lauded other newcomers for, right? With untested waters. Volpe, I mean, how much did we go on and on about that? Oh, wow, how wonderful. He dreamed of being a Yankee someday, and gave him a king's welcome. I think that, I think he's as humbled as he could be at the opportunity and as excited as he should be.
I think that's true. Yeah, I think that's definitely true. Now, Szymborski also says that first base is one of the weakest positions on the depth chart. And you and I already indicated that a little bit. And he says that he believes that the Yankees' depth in general is thinner than most good teams. So he projects 86 to 90 wins for the Yankees. And Elliot, I think I just saw in here, did you predict that the Yankees win 98 games? Oh, okay. Chad, tell me what you predict for the games the Yankees will win this season. I think it's going to be somewhere in the range of 86 to 90 wins myself. If they do better than that, it's going to be a matter of possibly because they acquire somebody we don't know about yet. Maybe Snell. Maybe Snell is still out there waiting to be a Yankee. Maybe Hector Neris is still going to come over and be a difference maker.
Yep, and Snell reportedly, Yankees are the only ones who have made an offer, which I find astounding if that's true,
right?
Unless it's an agent tactic. And the numbers are rolling in, Chris. I'm a little disheartened by them. So
hey, I'm glad to see that people think the Yankees are going to win more than 90 games. That's fantastic. I hope they do.
100.
Win 100, yeah.
100. Okay, but
Szymborski also says that the catcher position projects for the Yankees as average, and because of the uncertainty over the Wells's role, whether his defense will come up a notch how much playing time he has as opposed to Trevino. Let us know what you think about the catching situation and whether or not we should see Wells more than Trevino this season. He also says that depth at power positions is an issue. And so is the fact that a lot of the team's offense is tied up in two players, making the Yankees susceptible to injury. And that is definitely a concern. The Yankees are susceptible to injury again. Let's just say the worst case scenario, anything happens to Soto or Judge, we're right back where we were in 2023.
Right. And that memory still hurts a lot.
Oh.
So that's something we definitely don't want. And with the catchers, I guess there's less cause for concern, other than the fact that we gave away Higgy, along with all the other guys we let go of that we kind of to get allegedly bigger and better.
Right.
But I don't know.
I think it looks like from what the chat says here, and Li Yankee, let me get that highlighted there. Li Yankee King says Trevino will catch Stroman and Cole, and Wells will catch Schmidt, Cortez, and Rodon. So that'll be an interesting thing to watch all season, how the catchers match up and what the results are as we go. We are pretty convinced that Wells is going to have a better offensive season, and Trevino was hurt. We don't know what to expect. Again, another bounce back that we're hoping for.
Right. And and Joe's saying the same thing, that as long as he doesn't get pull happy. Yeah, and I think Wells still needs some coaching on both ends. I think he needs both, the coaching on the mechanics from Dowson, and I also think he needs some adjustments as a catcher.
Right.
With some of his defensive moves as well. So, but there's no doubt on his potential, and I'm fine with it's basically the Higgy Trevino thing that we were used to already from last season. So,
right, exactly.
Yeah.
And Szymborski, the last thing I noted that he said in his article, and if you want to check it out, go to Fangraphs, check out Dan Szymborski's recent 2024 projections for the Yankees. He said that the pitching is thin, there's no depth, and that the bullpen. Now, this I want your opinion on this. Szymborski claims that the Yankee bullpen pales in comparison to teams' bullpens of the last decade. That the Yankees are known for having such a kick-ass bullpen, and that what we've got going into 2024 pales by comparison. Any feedback on that? What do you think about the bullpen as it stands right now?
I'm gonna call foul on that. I don't think that there are concerns about the quality of the bullpen, and I don't think there have been such huge changes that affect that the confidence in the bullpen. He's like flat out wrong about that. Oh, and NFE's basically saying the same thing. We were the best bullpen, highest numbers, highest stats about across MLB last year. But do they need depth? They always need depth. Why do they need depth? Because we have a starting rotation that majority of which are coming back from injuries, and we don't want what we wanted last season with the burnt pen. Oh, NyQuil. With the bullpen being so burnt out because they were just being overused from all those stacked innings, from middle to end of the season, and so even I have to have grace about Schmidt, who I'm sorry about Holmes, because I say it all the time. He makes me nervous. I know he has the numbers, and I know he has the stuff,
right?
And but When he's good, he's on fire. And when he's bad, I lose fingernails. And so, I don't know that we'll ever get that guy. I said goodbye to Mo, a long time ago. Not really, but the expectations, I'm managing those. And I still think, that Holmes is that guy. And is he that guy because of what we haven't gotten? Maybe.
Right.
Should the Yankees have paid Nader $12 billion? No. I'm fine with Hader not being with us. And I think a lot of us, most of us, every week, had some ifs, ands, and buts about Hader.
Right.
But in terms of what's left, I just wanted to show this. I ran a quick little poll this week about this very thing. So let me just toss it up on the screen. I thought this was interesting. So, my question was, if Cashman does make a move for another arm in the pen, who do you want? And look at this. Neris over Peralta and Middleton. Anyone else surprised by that? Especially, thinking that there's a possibility we would get Neris. What do you think, Chris, of these
Yeah, I think that Neris is expensive for one thing, and that I don't see the Yankees giving up $50 million. What his ask is 3 years for $50 million. So he's so outrageous with his demand. Is he had the one good year, and is he that guy? But obviously they have not pulled the trigger on that, but I don't know. Well, the Yankees could also reunite, as you put there, with either of those two guys. I don't know what the chances are of that, but Wandy Peralta, he seemed like he was someone that the Yankees could definitely use again this year. Are the Yankees? Let's just various offseason moves still need to be made. The Yankees, are they still in on Snell? We found out this week that the Yankees are the only team that made an offer to Snell. That I thought was very interesting.
Yeah, and again, is it the truth? It's just what's being reported. Right. I find it really hard to believe that Snell didn't get any offers.
Yeah.
I'm putting something in the chat just to go full circle on Neris for a minute. So his numbers do play out, by the way. I saw Li that he wouldn't be, it's not that he wouldn't be a good addition. But he's one of the best relievers in the game. Had a breakout 2023 with the Astros. We all saw it with our broken hearts at home. And look at those numbers. Yeah, he's 35 years old. But hey, we're now the number one team for 1 year deals. Get him in as a stopgap. We seem to be fond of that. Get him in and see how much life he has left in him. But I agree, at those numbers, no one's going to go for that. Cashman.
No. And to sort of tie things up today, Cashman had a press conference this week, and he made some interesting comments. One of the things Cashman said is that this year is that much more important and meaningful given how last year played. And no kidding. No one wants to have that experience of underperforming, of failing, however you want to characterize it. We're better than that. Our fans deserve better than that. And we're intending on running a 2024 season in a much better light. Responses to that, Lynn, what would you expect once, having heard that from Cashman?
I think Cashman is going to spin class a lot. That's what I think, because he could make a dead rose smell good, or at least trick people into it. I think everything in comparison has the front office been more active? Yes, absolutely they have. Did we get Soto? Yes, we did. But it began and ended there. Losing Yamamoto and getting Soto, the wind in the sails was not as mighty. And yes, we're going large here. So I really I hate to say it, I buy anything that Cashman says. I do buy into what he's saying about what he's seeing in the players, but that's not answering the questions that the fans have about are we really built for the postseason in better ways. We thought we were built last year for the postseason, and all sorts of things could happen regardless of how well built we are this year. And we know that from too much experience. But and Elliot, just like you don't take anyone else's opinion, sometimes it's hard to accept what someone's intentions might be. And I'm not the one handling, holding the purse and making the deals. I would hope he wants the team to improve, but numbers talk. What has happened to get us to the playoffs since 2009, despite of who he has. And I know that injuries are not his fault, and life happens, in between. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I agree with you 100%, Lynn. I feel like Cashman, his relationship with the fans is certainly contentious right now, and he certainly is saying the right things. We want to hear that he's improving the team and that he believes that he doesn't want to fail this year, that he's aware that what a failure last year was. The question is, have we done enough if we stop now? If the Yankees do not go ahead and acquire another arm for the bullpen, for example, if they don't acquire another starting pitching arm, if there is no incoming, utility infielder that's going to surpass what we already have, then I think we're set. I think the Yankees are set for right now.
Yeah, and Rob is saying that he thinks that the office has done enough, and they don't need to spend $10 million on a relief pitcher. 100%.
Right.
And by the way, another name we didn't talk about today is Bieber. So Bobby Malone, a lot of us follow Bobby Malone on Twitter, thinks that Cash is going to make one last run to get Bieber. Has that been on anyone's radar recently? We've talked about him in the past, but I had pretty much forgotten about Bieber in the conversation. Right. So putting that out there. But if we're not going to spend the money on Hader, are we going to spend the $16 million on Bieber? Not likely, right? So I'm not so sure about that either.
Well, I don't know about you, but I can't wait for the week that's coming, because I feel like there are still things that are going to happen. I mean, despite the fact that my rational mind, I'm like Bugs Bunny with the devil and the angel, one on each shoulder. One side tells me the Yankees are done and that this is what we're going with. The other side's telling me, no, we're not. There's still these free agents out there to improve the team. So I still hope against hope that we get Snell. I know I'm dumb. I know it's stupid. I'm hoping against hope we get Neris. I know that's stupid. We're not going to get him. But the team as it stands right now is definitely, I would give it a B+ on the season. A B+ for Soto coming on board and making this team instantly better.
I'll see your B+, and I'll sign on that for 1 year. Well, I'll sign on that until the end of spring training.
Right. Lynn's got a wait and see attitude this year.
I keep saying it. Are you tired, everybody, of me saying it? I'm learning how to manage my expectations.
Yeah.
I'm balancing being the fan that I am with managing expectations. I don't always do such a great job of it. Ask my husband when games are on. But yeah, yeah, and let's not forget Verdugo. Spencer, that's fair.
That's fair.
Again, we need the sample size in the pinstripes. But
yep,
we'll see. Let's show the Red Sox how much better things shine in pinstripes.
Yes, let's do that.
But and in the chat I put our email address. So not everyone's on Twitter or Facebook. So in between, if you have a thought, you have a suggestion, you have a topic you'd like Chris and me to add to the shows, email us there. Lori, we're always looking for another woman to join the panel. Shoot us an email if you're interested, then we could talk about it.
Yeah, do.
And 2 weeks, 3 weeks left to pitchers and catchers.
Yeah, and I mean, I know I'm counting the freaking days right now because I am bored out of my mind without Yankee baseball.
Yeah. Tats is saying that he thinks the offense is set. Still concerns with the closer. 100%.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not, grading any higher than B level right now. And I know, no heartbreak over Hader. And I just don't see the money on Bieber. And, if they're going to sign Wandy, we got to think that they might be letting go of somebody like, Loizaga. So, or Canely even, to save some tax dollars. And that was another thought from Bobby Malone. So,
oh my God.
You give and you take and you get and you don't get. So I hadn't thought about that. I don't get so much into that tax.
Yeah, I don't.
It's numbers. I hate numbers. So anyway, and I think that's the end of the road. And
I think that's a wrap
this week in Yankee land.
I agree. We did it this week. We appreciate you showing up every week on Sunday and spending some time with us at 11 a.m. Don't forget to like, subscribe, find us on Twitter, find me on Facebook, find us wherever you can. We're always happy to chat.
And before I say goodbye, also, let's get that trivia answer out to you guys. Sorry, I'm a little offbeat today. But here we go. The 5 most recent New York Yankees to be inducted: Jeter, Mo, Moose, Tim Raines, and Ivan Rodriguez. So that was the stumper. Elliot, Spencer, whenever it looks a little bit easy and obvious, there's always a little creeper in there.
There's always a twist.
Yeah, it was half season, but he's still an ex-Yankee technically.
Yeah.
Wow. There you go. So congrats to anyone who got it. Sometimes guessing a full list correctly is Mr. Pudge Rodriguez. That's right, Pudge. Okay. Oh, it's all coming back to me now.
And I want to, before we leave, do you mind if I say a quick word? I've started writing for Inside the Diamonds. And if you guys see me on Twitter, don't forget to take a look at the Inside the Diamonds for Yankee News. It's a new blog.
Yep. And I put the link in the chat. Check out Chris's articles. And when she posts them, give her some support, guys.
Give her some love.
Yeah, absolutely. Show her some love. And we have nothing but love for all of you, our friends. We're sad when we don't see all these usual names in the chat. We're happy when we see the new ones. And as always, you have a reserved seat with Chris and me here on the upper deck. Have a great week. Let's go Cashman and go already.
Let's go Yankees.
And Bills.
And Bills.